Good afternoon. My presentation will have two parts. Some comments on international and bilingual education in general and at Dallas International School in particular. Then a short description of DIS and its project for development. Total 20 minutes, hopefully. Speaking of education at schools is still more challenging, and this subject has often been denigrated. George Bernard Shaw used to say the only time my education was interrupted was when I was in school. But in some comments, you can start understanding the challenges for education nowadays and in the future. Just three quotes. An entire generation of kids will fail to make their grade in the global economy because they can't think their way through abstract problems, work in teams, distinguish good information from bad, or speak a language other than English. The second one, we are currently preparing students for jobs that don't yet exist, using technologies that haven't been invented to solve problems that we don't yet know are problems. And Mark Eskew, former CEO of UPS, was saying, kids are global citizens now, whether they know it or not, and they need to behave that way. We need workers who are global trade literate, sensitive to foreign cultures, conversant in different languages. These quotes show us the way, and Dallas International School takes the challenge. Our school does prepare children for this global future, which is in fact almost a present. One of the major assets of DIS is in its name, Dallas International School. Internationalism is an overused word. What does it mean? Inter-nation. You define a nation with its political system, economy, religion, history, geography, culture, language. And inter means that you must manage with respect all these components from various countries. At DIS, our programs are based on the French programs and the International Baccalaureate Organization programs. Both systems focus on global awareness, the relationships among countries, international organizations, economic entities, social cultural groups, and individuals. What makes this approach very easy for us is that it applies to a perfect population. 60% of our families are American, and 40% come from more than 25 different countries, including France, that represent about 30%. Our staff is also international, with rich backgrounds, experiences, visions. It is a truly international environment that inspires our teachers from preschool to high school. But the prefix of international leads to other areas. Interdisciplinary approach in our pedagogical methods. Kids must learn to think across disciplines, since that is where most new breakthroughs are made. Interdisciplinary combinations lead to curiosity, risk-taking, creativity. And I insist on creativity. Specialists in education all agree that creativity is the most important area to improve. The true creativity, not just creating a new video game or a new coachwork. Actually, in many areas, our creativity has reached its limits. Transportation, energy, housing, nutrition, maybe education. The National Center on Education and the Economy says that the jobs in the new economy put an enormous premium on creative and innovative skills, seeing patterns where other people see only chaos. At DIS, we also focus on interpersonal skills, respect, tolerance, acceptance, compassion, civic responsibility, on interactivity, and on intercommunication. And communication brings me to say a few words about languages and bilingualism. You have heard people saying that dual language programs provide less input in each language, and this interferes with mastery of native language. Or that students cannot master academic subjects that are taught in a second language. And I would even add a question. Why learn another language when you speak English? Just because only 12% of the inhabitants of this planet are English native speakers. Of course, many studies have stressed the benefits of bilingualism. At Dallas International School, we observe these benefits every day. Bilingualism generates many ways the student perceive, remember, so transform, and utilize information. Bilingual children restructure their knowledge in response to changing situational demands. They transfer their knowledge and skills beyond their initial learning situation. They use creative processes in divergent and convergent thinking. They generate many creative responses to a single question or problem. They are able to work without supervision or to work in teams. They have excellent speaking and debating skills. And last but not least, they achieve higher grades in school. And the good news is that these advantages persist into adulthood. Recent researchers in geriatrics show that lifelong bilingualism protects older adults from cognitive decline with aging. Dallas International School also develops another important aspect of the individual. All schools focus on IQ, intelligence quotient. Not many focus on EQ, emotional intelligence. EQ is as important as IQ for success in today's workplace. Most innovations involve large teams of people. We have to emphasize communication skills, ability to work in teams, and with people from different cultures. To summarize this first part, I want to show you a survey administered to a large public. And the first question was, what are the most important skills schools should teach? Out of the top 11, 7 are skills I have been talking about, and they are in red on this slide. The more interesting is the second question. Grade the schools on a scale of 0 to 10 for their capabilities in teaching these skills. Their capabilities in teaching these skills. You can see that very few people, only 5%, 6%, think that schools are doing a great job. Well, now I want to give you a brief overview of DIS. It was created in 1987 by Mrs. Janjana for future children. In 1991, the Mission Laïque Française, a French non-for-profit organization in Paris, bought the school. In 1992, DIS was installed on a piece of land at Churchill Way. It was, I would say, the pioneering days of the school in temporary facilities. In 1998, the construction of the campus started and was achieved in 2001. The DIS community comprises about 540 students, 370 families, and 110 employees. And we want to maintain an economic diversity at DIS, and it is why our tuitions are more than $1,000 below the average in the Metroplex.